What's up, guys? Chris here with part 2 of our 3-part series of philosophy, how to help your new year. The 3 things to control. We talked about environment in the last episode, and now this episode we're diving into the body. Remember, 3 things were environment, body, and time. And so I wrote some notes down, so if you see me looking down, I didn't want to forget certain things. So how the body plays into all of this. And we talked last time, just to recap a little bit about, instead of thinking about cause and effect, think about causing an effect. So you creating your environment around you. And now your body starts to react to that stuff depending on what you see or what's going on in your environment. And your body then starts to react, and your body holds that information within it. And so a good way to think about this, which would probably be fun for a lot of people out there, is if you think about, let's say you're scrolling through social media and you see a sexual image. Your mind gets that image and then sends signals to your body to start reacting to that image. And this is one of the reasons why sexting is such a big thing with people, is because you get the image and then all of a sudden your mind sends signals through the bloodstream to your organs, to different parts of your body, to then react to that thing. But the important part about that is that now your body sends those signals back up to the brain to say, think more about this thing. Here's where we're primed and we're ready for this. And then you get stuck into this loop. Okay, so your body acts within the loop where the mind sends the signals, the body starts to react to that. Another way to think about it that's not as fun is if you think about work. If you don't like someone at your job, you could be driving to work, or it could be a Saturday and you could think about work. You associate with this person and your body, your heart rate goes up. Maybe you start to sweat, whatever your reaction is to that person. You start feeling that. It could be a Saturday where you're home doing nothing, but you pop that thought in your mind about that person, and all of a sudden your body starts to react. The important thing to understand is your body doesn't know the difference of, is this happening to me now, or is this just something I'm thinking? And that's very, very important when it talks about stress and aches and pains and things that people go through. So one thing I wrote down, which I thought was a really important point about the whole thing, was that what happens is your body, as it reacts, it sends this signal right back up to the brain. You get caught into this loop. But what eventually starts to happen is that, and I had to write down because it makes perfect sense to me, is that your body starts to feel the way you think and then think the way you feel. Again, I'll say it, your body starts to feel the way you think and then think the way you feel. So you get caught into that. If it's a negative loop, you get stuck into this loop. And when the body starts to feel the way, you start to think more that way because your body's feeling that way. And you keep thinking more, and then which causes the body to continue to feel that way. So you get stuck in a bad loop. So you need to find a way to break that cycle, okay? And this is where trying to learn to master your body or master the way it feels is very important, because there's breathing techniques that people can use. If you can learn to breathe through it and fight that thing. If you can learn to move in certain ways, this is why practices like yoga are so great for people, or for me, it's doing animal flow or different movements, because you can release some of this tension through your movements. And if you can learn to move, you can change or shift the energy that you're feeling, and then that will shift the energy in the way you're thinking. And the why feeling is so important, why the body part is so important, is the body can bypass the brain with some stuff. And what I mean by that is, think about if you have a number, right? A cell phone number, and someone asks you, oh, what's such number? And you're trying to think, you can't think, but you can, if someone gives you a phone, you can type the number in right away, right? Like, it's bypassing that processing system, but it's still able to act on its own. And so we need to learn to try to master our bodies in a way where when we start getting in those loops of thinking, oh my God, work, 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 you can breathe, or you can do something that releases that energy, that tension from the body, so it doesn't keep cycling through. It can literally shift your energy. And I know Tony Robbins is a big component of talking about physically shifting your energy. He does like jumping stuff or jumping in a cold tub or whatever. It's a way to shift you physically so you can change your state mentally. And so for this year, if you want to start thinking different, if you want to be more positive, if you want to shift what's going on around you, if you can physically start to make some changes, it's going to help you mentally to make a lot of changes. A lot of people with fitness are all obsessed with, first of all, fitness is it's obsessed with physique and all that stuff, which I understand and I get. But more importantly, I think the part that most people miss is how important the physical movement can actually help you mentally and emotionally. So if you can learn to start training, start learning to move better, learn to move in different ways. And I know for me, one of the biggest changes was when doing animal flow. I used to just lift, and I was stuck in certain patterns. But then you start to see your life starts to mirror those patterns. And I felt stuck physically, but I also felt stuck mentally. When I started moving and doing more movement-based training and being more fun and creative and playful with my movement, mentally, I felt more creative. I felt like there was a release mentally. So our body, the way it physically moves, can affect us mentally and emotionally. So again, if you want to make changes this year, don't think about, I'm going to the gym to lose 10 pounds. Maybe think about it like, I need to physically learn to move my body so I can change my mindset, change where my mind is. And then when your body starts to feel a certain way, move a certain way, your mind starts to think that way. And then the loop you can go from a negative loop to thinking about work, being stressed, whatever, to a positive loop where I'm doing these movements, I feel happy, I feel more joy, and then that stuff starts to manifest in our life. It's not gonna happen the opposite way around. You need to have these things, mind, and I say mind, brain, but it's not necessarily that. Mind can be anything, right? But mind and body need to be together in order to have those lasting changes. You can hack yourself and all these crazy life hacks that people have now, and shortcut diets and all that stuff, and it's not going to be sustainable for you. The only thing that's going to be sustainable is something that creates a positive loop and a positive habit. We'll talk about that next time with habits, and that stuff's going to be sustainable in the long run. So there's a lot more to this. We can get into epigenetics and how that can help shift your DNA from affecting the cells from the outside in by doing our movement and training. That's not something we'll dive into now, but again, the 3 things we talked about: environment, this one's body, and the next one, episode 3, will be on time. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Talk to you next time. They made the monster out of me. They put a